way going forward. So I have, designed the presentation into, three parts. First part, we will be discussing about why oil is so important and what oil markets indicate as a macroeconomic indicator. What does it indicate for any economy? Second part would be what actually happened and why this thing is not permanent, what has happened. And third part would be whatever, implications are there, and what it means for the Indian economy and the global economy on the whole. Lastly, we will take Q&A. So I will want it to be more interactive. So I will finish the presentation as soon as possible so as we can take a lot of questions. I've tried to keep the presentation simple so that whoever is, listening this for the first time also, they can easily understand. But still, whatever, queries you might have, please ask me. I'll be happy to help at the end. So we all are talking about this oil crash, and there are a lot of memes like this going around, that because in COVID we all have to work from home, the oil is not getting consumed because we're not driving vehicles, so all those oil barrels are getting accumulated, and actually there is no storage around the world. So it might be that we might have to store it at our homes, right? So it's one of the things that has been unprecedented. Again, there are WhatsApp messages going around that is it possible that now petrol and diesel prices would be negative? That means if I go to a pump, will it pay me to get the oil filled? So it's nothing like that is going to happen, guys. It's a temporary event, and please understand what has happened is something which is due to the technical effect in a financial transaction. It is not which is something very permanent, and it is not that going forward for a long period of time it is going to remain. So I'll just briefly tell you what exactly has happened and also cover in detail in the upcoming slides. So crude oil, as as a commodity, it is traded in the physical market wherein people can go and buy barrels, right? But there is also a financial market where crude oil is traded. Like stocks are traded on stock exchanges, there are exchanges which trade crude oil also. Like in India, there is a multi-commodity exchange where crude oil is traded, and the NYMEX is there in the US exchanges. So similarly, there are exchanges where the crude oil is traded. And the negative price went for a specific contract of May and not for all the contracts of the coming months. So please understand, it's a peculiar scenario which has happened for a specific contract that was for the May month. And why did it happen? Please understand, due to COVID, what is happening is world over, the demand for crude oil is not there. People are not driving vehicles, right? So when the demand of crude is not there, the supply of crude should have been curtailed or brought down. But Russia and oil producing nations, that is the OPEC, they did not cut down the oil production. In fact, they went into a price war kind of a scenario last month, and in fact pumped in more oil. So please understand, the oil is getting produced and it has no taker. I mean, very few takers of oil, right? So what happened in a specific market, this is a story of the NYMEX market in the US, which is known as the WTI crude. There are a lot of variants of crude that also we will discuss sometime during the presentation. But for now, please understand there are two major variables of crude: Brent crude and WTI crude. Brent is a more crude benchmark that is followed around the world. In fact, in India also we follow the Brent crude benchmark, which never went into negative. In fact, it was running at $20 even when the WTI crude price went to negative. So Brent is the crude that matters to India more. WTI is the crude oil market of US. For example, simplicity's sake, you can assume that there's a crude oil market of US, and there the overall functioning is that at the end of the contract, whoever has bought the oil, so you can buy and sell oil every day, but there is a end of the month that you have to settle the trade. For example, I have put in a order of buying 100 barrels of oil. Now I don't need that 100 barrels of oil, but I found that the oil is running at $15. It is cheap, and by the end of the month it might go to $20. So I just bought those $100, assuming that the price would go up to $20 at the end of the month. So I was just buying oil for the sake of making a quick buck out of it. And for many, many years, people have been doing these transactions. Even people who don't need oil, they do trade in oil on the financial markets so as to just gain from the contract of gaining if the price is appreciated. Now, what happened in this particular scenario is that the crude oil prices went down and not up at the end of the contract. And the rule of this particular market, different markets have different rule. For example, the Brent crude market allows you, the exchange allows you that if you bought the oil at $15 and at the end of the month, suppose it is down, it is $5, then you can just pay the difference of $10 and you're out. I mean, that's okay. You're out of the contract. But the WTI crude contract is a special contract where anyone purchasing the contract and keeping the contract at the end of the month will have to take a physical delivery of oil. It's just not that you just sell off the contract at $5 at the end, let the contracts expire at the end of the month, and you say, okay, I pay the difference of $10. No, you have to pay $15 A, and B, you have to take the physical delivery of those barrels. Now, please understand what happened in this particular situation is that all the oil storage had already gone full at the storage houses at the WTI exchanges. Now people got a very big fear that if the storage is full, where will I store the oil? I cannot bring the oil at my home or not even put anywhere. So I should sell the oil contract as soon as possible, because if storage is not available, it would be a liability for me to go and take the delivery of those barrels of oil. So in panic, people started selling whatever oil they had to avoid taking the delivery of those crude oil barrels, because they did not have any purpose to serve at that point of time. So that resulted in a very panic-stricken market when everyone started to sell, and when there was no one to buy, then the price just kept falling. Even so, people got so scared that even when the price was -$2, -$10, -$20, people kept on selling. That means, please understand, a guy bought $10 of oil, he lost all $10. He's also willing to pay $20 more to someone who is ready to buy the oil, because he does not want to take the delivery of that oil. That is what exactly had happened. And that was a very peculiar situation for that particular trade. In coming slides, we will understand in detail, but I just wanted to put this in perspective, that what exactly happened in that particular market for crude oil, and we'll understand in detail in the coming slides. So I'll just want to also make you understand that how the oil markets work. So as I was just discussing, that there's a physical market of oil, and then there's a financial market where people trade in oil even if they don't want oil, right? So a physical market is maybe Reliance goes to the refinery in Saudi Arabia and tells that goes to a producer in Saudi Arabia and tells the oil well that I need this 10 lakh barrels of oil, and please provide me for this month. That's a physical market of oil, right? People go and buy physically the oil that they require. That's for the need of the refinery of Reliance in India. But then there is this financial market, as I explained you, and world over people do trade oil. So that's how these two markets basically work. Now, why the oil market is very, very important. So I will just share a slide which actually explains that crude oil trading which happens in the world and the price of crude oil are actually a lead indicator of a lot of economic events in the world. Now, what's a lead indicator? The difference between a lead indicator and a lag indicator is the lead indicator actually signifies an event before it is arriving, right? So it basically gives you an insight into what is going to happen, and a lag indicator is basically an event which tells you what has already happened, right? So for example, if you look at GDP is a lag indicator, because GDP, suppose after this COVID mishap, if we look at the quarterly GDP of the second quarter, then we will see that the GDP has turned negative. Now it's a lag indicator. Why? Because we will know that we all are going through a economy which is not having any activity. So it was going to be a negative GDP. So we tend to know that thing far out after the June quarter, when the GDP result would come, then the GDP number would show a negative. So it's a lag indicator, right? It is telling something which has already happened. But the crude oil price crash is already signifying right now, as we are living in this moment, that there is a recession that is going to come, that the GDP is going to turn negative. So that's why the prices of crude oil are very, very important to track. In fact, I have a lot of friends who manage millions of dollars of funds abroad, and most of these people, they follow the price of crude oil very, very closely. And if there is a very big volatility or a very big downfall in crude oil, it signals a pain in the economy. And please understand, there can be no better indicator of economic activity than the crude oil price. Because whatever indicator you take, for example, someone tells that you can take unemployment as an indicator of the economy, you can take maybe inflation as the indicator of economy, RBI policy, but all these things have different connotations. For example, unemployment in the economy can be created in a booming economy also, when the economy is expanding, because maybe machines are replacing humans, right? So we don't know. So similarly, all these different parameters that we look at in defining the economy sometimes are not as accurate. And crude oil in the past many occasions has been accurate in predicting a crisis or predicting a downfall. So just imagine, if the world over demand for crude oil is falling, then it's the most leading indicator, because it signifies that industrial activity is falling. It signifies that transportation is having problem, lesser planes are flying, that's why air jet fuel is not getting consumed, maybe petrochemicals are not getting consumed, maybe people are not using polyester yarn, that's why crude oil barrels are not getting consumed. So because the products that come from crude oil are such important products used around the world, that if the crude oil falls, that means it signifies the overall demand for a lot of commodities in the world is falling. So just have a look at the previous crisis also, if we would put your attention on. So look at the Saudi oil production increase, that which created a recession, was predicted by crude oil crash. If you look at the Asian financial crisis, at that time also the crude oil crash, the big bang financial crisis that we faced in 2008, just look at that. The crude oil price went down from around 135 $140 way down to 30 $35. That was the kind of downfall, and this was the downfall which was told before the GDP numbers turned negative, right? The quarterly GDP numbers of US told the story much later, and the crude oil started falling much before the problem that the world economy was going to see. So if we currently also look at, the COVID-19 has created an unprecedented recession in a lot of economies of the world, right? The situation where there is a utter panic in Western economies, also in Asian economies to some extent. So crude oil prices have already crashed from around $75 to around $20. And I'm talking about Brent crude over here. WTI crude, you all might be knowing that it also went to negative. But if the bigger indicator, which is the Brent oil crude, which the world over actually follows as an indicator, that is also crashed from $75 to $20. So what is it signifying? It is definitely signifying a very tough time to come. A big recession is actually being experienced by the economies, and no one can deny this fact, because when the lockdown would be lifted, people might not be willing to do a lot of travel, a lot of economic activity might still not pick up. So for the whole year, a lot of economists and a lot of intelligent people that I know, they are in this opinion that there will be a recession. But going forward, definitely this indicator might not be that good, because we all know that now electronic vehicles are also being consumed in the world. So oil demand might remain low for some considerable amount of time. But please understand, no reserve has yet replaced crude oil. It is still a very important part of the world economy. And currently, when it is falling such, drastically, it is definitely actually telling us that there is a recession that we are looking at. Now, whether we should look at a long-term recession or short-term recession, that's also a debate, because please understand, in the past, whatever crisis the world have seen, even the world wars, there have been no event when all the economies have went into a lockdown. Please understand, it's a very peculiar situation that we're facing right now. Even during World War I and II, there were particular economies which were shut down, not the whole world. And even the economies that were fighting, they were still producing arms and ammunitions, and a lot of crude oil was being consumed during the war. Please understand, this is a very peculiar situation which has not been experienced in any kind of a recession or a war, wherein everyone is just shutting their economy.